Welcome to Jacksonville Buzz. I'm your host, Chris Budihas, and joining me virtually is Wadelene Charles with Strategic Tax Accountants. Wadelene, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank
Well,
you for welcoming me on to the show today.
Yes, ma'am. Thanks for joining us. So, Strategic Tax Accountants, what do you do? Does it have to do with business and does it have to do with taxes?
I mean, yeah, it's in the name. But yes, we are a full service accounting firm. So we specialize in providing bookkeeping, tax, and really financial advisory to our clients and mainly small business owners.
Do you look at a specific company size or just any companies from small tier one companies to larger companies? Is there any specific segment that you're looking for?
Yeah, so we cater to our midsize. We do deal a lot with emerging businesses as well.
Yeah.
Mainly that's your businesses that's in their third to fifth year in business.
Mm,
And then we do have our smaller businesses that are just getting started that want to do maybe a strategy session, trying to
yeah.
figure out, hey, what's the ground level stuff as far as tax strategy and tax savings.
Now that's
But
yeah.
yeah.
Now that's gigantic. It's funny. I'm a small business owner myself, so there's only so much you can read from a book. Then you got to go find an expert because when you start talking, when you're specifically looking at your P&L sheet, and then you're looking at your taxes, what can you write off and what you can't, and then where's the risk at and the things that you may not know. So coming to an expert like you, no doubt, probably saves people hundreds of thousands of dollars in many cases. Like, what are some of the common cases you see with a client that comes to you and say, "Hey, Wadelene, I need help." Where do we go from here?
Yeah, so primarily the majority of our clients have some sort of real estate, whether they're real estate professionals, rental properties, investors. So it's really them trying to mitigate their capital gains risk,
Mm,
or they already sold and they're like, hey, so I'm dealing with a bunch of capital gains. What do I do? And it's like, well, we needed to talk before you got to the closing table. But
yeah.
but here's some things that we could do on the back end. But really, getting in front of the issue, I think, is one of the big things. People tend to wait until after they have a tax problem to be like, hey, help, versus
Yeah.
before they make that huge financial jump to say, oh, let me go ahead and consult a tax accountant.
That's gigantic, and I love the word you got, strategic, in there. As a former military strategist myself, that kind of that long look, like this is where we're at, this is where we want to go, it's how we're going to get there, and then being very purposeful. And when I started my own company, some advice from friends is, number one, have a good business plan, and number two, get other people to take a look at it and advise you on what your business plan is, specifically lawyers, accountants, and people obviously in the tax space, because unless you have that expertise in your background, you can make some huge financial mistakes along the way.
Absolutely.
So right now with your company, Strategic Tax Accountants, are you in a growing phase yourself? And if so, are you looking to hire, or are you kind of holding in place and just continuing to work with your client base?
Yeah, we are continuously growing. We are currently, like I said, we are adding additional accountants. So we're expanding to a few new territories within Southern Georgia, along with the Carolinas. So we're expanding a little bit outside of the Jacksonville area as far as different accountants, and as well as within Jacksonville itself,
Well,
especially
that's
because
great.
Jacksonville's emerging
Yeah.
so quickly with all the new construction and innovations here.
Yeah, it's amazing to see where Jacksonville's at. I saw a figure the other day that we're a little bit over 1 million folks in the Duval County, and then I'd say probably some of the surrounding areas part of that equation. But they're talking
Right.
growth of 500,000 to 1 million in the next 8 years. So lots of opportunity
Hmm.
there. Not just people moving here to live here, but also businesses moving in this area. And no doubt they're going to need a strategic accountant to keep them on pace. But I love to hear the fact you're growing outside of this area too. So you got clients well outside the Jacksonville area. Is that what I heard? That's your plan right now, or where you're currently positioned at?
Yeah, we have clients throughout the nation and really even internationally too, as well. As long as it deals with U.S. taxation,
Yeah.
we service our clients. So some of them, we have a few um, military personnel that are out in Germany
Yep.
and Poland and out there. And then we have some clients in Brazil. So really that own real estate properties or things like that within the US. And they're like, hey, we need someone.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
awesome. So Wadelene, so
Mhm.
since we publish nationally, actually internationally in many cases, so how can people find you? How can people find strategic tax accountants?
Yeah, so we are a strategic tax accountant on all social media platforms. That's LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. And then we do have our website, strategictaxaccountant.com.
Awesome. Well, hey, Wadelene, thanks for coming on virtually today. It's good to meet you. I'm glad to hear business is going well. I'm glad to hear people are approaching you before they make that big, huge capital gains mistake, and others at least
Yeah.
they're coming to you after they made the mistake. But at least that's just, staying out of jail, so to speak. That's probably a good thing. So hey, thanks for what you're doing for our community, and we'll make sure we post in our show notes all your contact information. And we appreciate you taking the time, so thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris.
All right,
Appreciate
folks,
it.
if you like what you heard, please check us out online. Check us out on LinkedIn, connect with us, share our content. We're going to share all of Wadelene's information and in our show notes. And hey, if you need a strategic tax accountant and you want to save a lot of money, you might want to reach out to them. Thank you very much, and we'll see you in our next segment.